the first returns for the All-Star balloting voting came out, and Jayson Tatum is not starting. What do you make of Jayson Tatum not being insane. A starter initially as an All-Star? That's insane. Who would you remove out of the three guys that's in front of him?
Who do we have? We've got Giannis. We've got Embiid.
Joel and KD.
And KD. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for this. I think I need to hear this one.
I would have to remove KD. And it's not because and that's saying a lot for me, because I think when KD's healthy, he's the best on the planet. And I think he's a leading candidate for MVP. Here's why I would remove him. I can't remove Joel Embiid because they ain't a center on a planet, as far as I'm concerned, better than him, not particularly in the Eastern Conference. I can't remove Giannis because that's your power forward, who, by the way, is a champion and a two-time Defensive Player of the Year and is balling out, averaging 47 and 17 over the last 3 to 6 games or something, right? I can't do that. Here's where I can pick Tatum over KD. Similar stats, but a better record. And by the way, the last time we saw y'all two against each other, Tatum swept you. That's why. That's why. I wouldn't want...
the whole Kyrie thing played into that.
I understand it. But at the end of the day, well, listen, what have I said? When you and I have had conversations, what have I said to you, Dray? I said, excuse me, I ain't expecting no damn points from you. It's good when you give me points. I'm looking at the rebounds and assists. I'm looking at your defensive prowess.
That's a fact.
But more importantly, I'm looking at your leadership.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, when the leadership ain't there, when things run awry, I'm looking at you because you're that guy that galvanizes them. You're the guy that allows Steph to be Steph, because Steph don't have to be preoccupied with a bunch of stuff. And Klay don't have to be preoccupied with a bunch of stuff. That's what you do, right? So if you're not doing that, then that's problematic. When I look at the Brooklyn Nets, I love KD. I love him as a player and a person. I love KD. And I love Mama Durant as well. You got swept, and the distractions that no longer exist for now, right now, give them credit where credit is due. But the distractions and everything else, all of that happened on your watch.
Yeah.
So I got to hold you accountable for that if I got to pick between you and Tatum right now.
But here's the question, though. Here's the question. And Kevin has said this himself. Everyone expects Kevin to be this big leader in the sense of like if I remember correctly, I don't want to misquote him, but I think he said in Rolling Stone, I'm not good at saying, hey, everybody, come on, follow me. Okay. That's never been who I am in my life. So why does that have to be so synonymous with who he is as a basketball player? Because everybody's just not a natural born leader. And again, I'm not taking no shot at K, but he himself has said, that's not kind of my strong suit. Why is his basketball game judged based off of that? And he himself has said it's not. Like, I'm not strong there.
Well, first of all, I'm going to challenge you on that because you're not accurate, because he's a league MVP. And a two-time
is a league
champion.
MVP.
He's a league MVP and a two-time champion. So clearly,
and a finals MVP twice.
And a finals MVP twice. And well-deserved. And y'all would have three-peated. You'd have swept Toronto. Don't get me started with that. You'd have took them out, okay? Because of KD, all right, with the rest of the crew. What I am saying is, where I'm challenging you is that he wasn't a leader then. Nobody blamed him for it. We still praised him. We still recognize the greatness. We're recognizing the greatness now. But you asked why Tatum instead of him. That's entirely different than not appreciating the greatness of KD. We know he's great. We know he's phenomenal. We know he's unmatchable. You can't guard him. The brother is on another level, and he's a league MVP candidate. But right now, halfway through this season, the consistent team has been the Brooklyn Nets. I'm sorry, the Boston Celtics. And this is in spite of their drama. Ime Udoka and all of that.
Absolutely.
So the point is that all of that comes into play. And if you have to choose between KD and Tatum for the starter's nod, that's where that would come from. That's not throwing shade on KD. It's simply pointing out that's what it is. And oh, by the way, I understand you might not be that dude. Fair enough. There's a lot I might not be. There's a lot that you might not be. But when it's costing us the chip, whatever our definition of the chip is, all of a sudden you got to modify. You can't be married to what you ain't and don't even try to be something more just because that's not you. You got to try. You got to keep pushing. And that's what I would challenge KD to do. And that's throwing no shade on them because I got mad love and respect for KD. You know that.
Absolutely. I respect that. And if I'm being honest, by the way, I'm not making an argument against JT because if I'm being honest with you, I think JT's probably top 2, maybe 3 in MVP voting. Yep. No lower than 3.
I had him number 1 until a week ago. I had him number 1.
Yeah. And like he's definitely should be a starter, I think, and we'll see how it plays out. Like none of us know how it's going to play out yet. I think we'll see that over the next few weeks of how it actually plays out. But I think that's a very interesting take on especially after the first voting return, KD come back the leader. I don't think anyone's going to expect or would have expected that you would have said KD would be the one to get subbed out.
Nobody would have, because I believe when KD healthy, he's the best on the planet. But I'm talking about this year and the conditions faced by both of them this year. Up until 3 weeks ago, the Nets were struggling to be a 500 team.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Jayson Tatum and Boston have been more consistent.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's a tough one. So, but before we get out of here, a couple more questions.
Yeah.
Number one is, all said and done, we 42, almost halfway through the season. Yeah. Once we get to the end, who do you think ultimately, and now, in answering this question, you have to take into account, still got half a season to go. You have to take into account injuries could possibly happen, who's injury prone, who hasn't been. You have to take all these things into account. Who do you think is going to walk with the MVP award at the end of the year when it's all said and done?
I want to say Tatum, but I witnessed the drop-off, and I'm seeing the elevation of Giannis. I don't know how he's going to be stopped. Giannis is a special breed, man. And I'm not talking about his ability. He wants it. He wants it all. He wants it all. He wants it all. He's not playing. The nights off that KD and JT may unintentionally or occasionally take, or even a Joel Embiid, that ain't Giannis. Giannis might have a bad shooting night. That's his night off. But the energy, the tenacity, the want-it factor, that's with him. And Middleton's questionable health puts Giannis in a position where Giannis is like, give me the ball, man. I got to take over. Because Middleton's missing one game. Drew Holiday's missing another. Man, he's on the court last night with the Grayson Allens of the world and Carters of the world and people and Wes Matthews of the world. Be like, and he is destroying people.
There he is.
That is going to be hard to ignore. I would tell you Tatum still got a shot, but Tatum has to return to being what he was a couple of weeks ago, and there can be no drop-off. Otherwise, Giannis is going to get the nod.
What's up, everybody? It's Draymond Green. Make sure you subscribe to the Volumes YouTube channel below so you don't miss any more of this great content going forward.